and welcome to CFO Conversations. I'm Paula Kensington, and it's my great pleasure today to have Alison Fleming with me to talk about a couple of really exciting topics for CFOs and finance leaders. Alison, welcome, and just introduce yourself to us, if you will, please.
Thanks, Paula. Thanks for having me. So I'm currently the General Manager of Finance for Scentre Group, which is the owner and operator of Westfield Shopping Centres. I've got a background in finance. I'm a chartered accountant, a fellow of the Chartered Accountants. I spent the very early days of my career in audit for Pricewaterhouse, and then moved into more commercial roles, mainly in mining and manufacturing, before moving to what was Westfield 10 years ago.
We're talking about the subject of personal branding, and we know as senior finance leaders just how important that is for us and for our strategic success. And I think there's a lot of people that I speak to on a regular basis that haven't really thought about their personal branding, and I guess a lot of people that are running their own business get it because that's how they work and that's how they win their business. But a lot of people in corporate, like yourself, haven't really thought about what their personal branding strategy is. So maybe talk to us a bit about what you've done for yourself.
Thanks, Paula. And I think you're absolutely right. I think it's something that a lot of people don't pay as much attention to as they should. I think the thing to remember with personal branding is you have one, whether you acknowledge it or not. And it's like anything. If you're going to have one, it's a great idea to make it a good one. So, I think just being yourself, but then standing for something so that you're a bit more memorable. I think, if you don't really stand for anything, you're really easy for people to forget, and particularly in large organisations, which is where I've had most of my working life. If you're not sort of known for something, you're just genuinely not known. So I've really tried to remember that and build a brand for myself around what's important to me.
Yeah, that's great. And I love your point about everyone's got a brand, so you might as well make it a good one. That's a great point. And over the time I've been thinking about this, I've sort of built a model, if you like, about where you are on that stage of your personal branding and how obvious you are to the outside world, because I think it moves at the bottom end of being invisible. Nobody knows who you are. It then sort of moves through, someone's starting to know who you are, but you're in denial and that maybe you're hiding. And then you get to a stage where you're sort of on the horizon, and the next stage is about immersion and emerging out into the big wide world of outside of ourselves. And I think if we think about like a little seed, you can sort of imagine it popping through the soil. So if you are emerging, then people are starting to see you and see what your values are, see what you're saying on social media, seeing what maybe you're not saying, how you look. All of this wraps up into a personal brand.
That's right.
And if you want to be successful, I think you've got to be able to drive the growth in that. And I think, you've absolutely nailed it, that it's something that is inside your organisation, but it's something outside of your organisation, around your LinkedIn profile. It's all connected, and a lot of people have said in the past, well, if I update my LinkedIn profile, my employer thinks I'm looking for a new job. What would you advise people that are watching on how to deal with that?
I think no one cares more about you and your career than you do. You can work for the most caring and passionate leader, but at the end of the day, it's your career is your responsibility. So I think managing your organisation's expectations, and there's nothing wrong with providing them an understanding of why you might be doing something on LinkedIn, but I wouldn't think that fearing your employer, thinking that you might be looking for another job, would be a reason not to have an outstanding LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
They should be really encouraging you to have a great LinkedIn profile, because your brand is also representing their company brand as well. Anybody in HR or recruitment will tell you, as soon as you're advertising for a role, the first thing a candidate does is look up the LinkedIn profile of the person that they might be looking for, and they're choosing you as much as they're choosing the organisation. So I would think progressive organisations these days should be quite encouraging of their employees having fantastic LinkedIn profiles.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the point of the discussion is around making sure that you're being proactive and not just waiting until you've actually got a situation in your life where you might need to find a new job.
Correct,
That's not the
yeah.
time to be actually building a profile.
No, it's a little bit. It's not too late, but it's bordering on too late at that point. I think that's right. I think it's great if your industry and your broader network knows a little bit about who you are and what you stand for before that might happen. And I think it just makes all of those conversations, when you need to have them, a little bit easier.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I think the resume is dead in the next 3 to 5 years. So make sure you're out there building up your personal branding on social media, and the easiest way to do that is on LinkedIn. There's lots of people out there that can help you with that. If you can't, make sure it recognize yourself in that LinkedIn profile. There's no point talking about somebody that doesn't actually sound like you, but definitely make a start if you haven't already. So good luck with that, and thanks, Alison.
Thanks, Paula.